Welcome back to the Humble Market Timer YouTube channel. Once again, if you enjoyed the content, please like, comment, and subscribe. Today's video, I want to focus on Palladium. It's had a nice move off the bottom, but is there still more upside for 2025? Before I go any further, here's my disclaimer. Once again, these are my sole ideas, not investment advice. Now, back in late May, I did a post on platinum group metals, and I focused more so on the platinum aspect of those platinum group metals. And back then, platinum was trading at just under $1,100. Again, this is late May, and that particular asset or commodity has made a massive move. It's now in the $1,600 price range, so it's made a pretty nice move from those sub 1100 area back in late May. But for this video, I want to focus more on Palladium. The two are kind of go hand in hand a little bit. A lot of people confuse the two because they both start with P, and they look kind of similar word wise and metal wise, but they're really two separate commodities with two separate benefits. But for this particular video, I want to focus on Palladium. And I wanted to focus more so on the technical aspect of Palladium. Palladium is one of those metals that's used often in catalytic converters and things of that nature. It's more of an industrial metal. So it tends to do better when we're in high times with industrial demand, high industrial demand. We are approaching that level with all the different things involved in AI. Things are shifting away from electric vehicles, which brings back more of the importance of palladium in those catalytic converters. So palladium is becoming much more in favor. Also, palladium is a precious metal, and with the debasement of the dollar, money is flowing to commodities, and in particular those precious metals. So just kind of looking at the chart of Palladium, you can see here is a weekly chart, and it dates back to 2008. So this is a chart from 2008 all the way to 2025. So this is about a 17-year chart. And as you can see, for the most part, Palladium has traded within a very tight range in an incline from 2008 to 2025, with the exception of this outlying time right here. It's about a 4-year time frame where we exploded out of the uptrending parallel. But as you can see, once we peaked, we made our way right back into the parallel. We bottomed at that exact same parallel that has been lasting and continuing for all the way since 2008. And we have recently bounced off the bottom, and we have recently re-hit the top part of that parallel. So Palladium has made quite a move off that bottom. It's seen quite a drop off that massive move out of the parallel. But as you can see, we are now back at the top end of the parallel that it has been in for 17 years, with the exception of those 4 years. Now, to kind of zoom in on Palladium, looking at it more from a daily chart and looking at it more now, you can see we hit the top part of this parallel recently, and we have pulled back off that top portion of the parallel. That often happens when you have a parallel that has lasted that long. Of course, there's going to be a resistance at the top of that parallel. But you can see that this is sort of textbook in the way the chart has been set up. I talk a lot about those bullish technical patterns, and this particular stock is no different. As you can see here, we have a shoulder, we have a head, and then we had another shoulder. This was a textbook inverse head and shoulders pattern. We broke out of the inverse head and shoulders pattern. We broke out of the neckline. And what we did was we moved to the top of the parallel, and we have retraced right back to the neckline. So based on the price action, very textbook price action, when you have an inverse head and shoulders, of course you will have resistance at the top of the parallel. But if we continue to hold the neckline area, you can bet that you will have a reattack of the top of the parallel. And then if we break out of that parallel, you're talking about getting a substantial move higher. And if we do a measured move, we get a measured move from the bottom of the head to the neckline, and we move that to the breakout point. The measured move of this pattern takes you to about $1,800. So we're now currently sitting at about $1,400 in Palladium. It is my belief that we will have the slight pullback like we currently have, but we will reattack that resistance at top of the parallel. And that's going to be a tough parallel to break because, as I've stated before, that has been a long-term resistance for Palladium. But I do believe if we break the top of that parallel, I believe we have upside in the short term to about $1,800, and I believe we could reach that point before the end of 2025, particularly when we have all the inflation. There's a debasement trade that's going on right now, and that's going to just keep infusing those precious metals to increase their prices. So be on the lookout for the breakout of Palladium. If we can get past the top of that parallel, that will trigger a move, I believe, all the way to that 1,800 price range, and I believe we can get there by the end of 2025. Hope you like the content. If you like it, please like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.